I'll show you the swatch right now. 3.5N, 3N, 2.5N, 2N. Thanks so much for joining me for my Sephora recommendations. And these are going to be surprises just because I love what I love. And I typically say I love the same things over and over again. They repeat year after year. But I have some surprise recommendations, and one of the reasons it's surprising is because they are brands I don't normally feature and they are newer products. So I'm very hesitant to recommend products that are new to me because I don't feel like I have enough experience with them. But since I got these new products, I've been using them frequently enough to feel comfortable recommending them to you, and I think they're really wonderful. So we will have some repeats, but lots of new surprise recommendations. If you're returning, thank you so much for coming back. If you are new here, I feature luxury beauty and lots of brands that aren't carried at Sephora, but there are some lovely luxury brands here, and I love a good sale. Starting with one that I'm going to talk about first because I feel like this might not last very long if it's even still available. Oh, it's upside down. This is by Givenchy. It is their set, which has a blush and a lip in it. And one of the surprises about this product, if I can hold it, and one of the surprises about this is that I didn't love the first time I tried this similar format. So I picked up the blush in 3. It's a corally shade. It was a little bit hard to use and I didn't love the finish. It was a little bit too intense, but I thought I do love these pH lip products. So I thought, let me just try this again and try a different shade in the blush. So this one comes with the Taffetas Rosé. It's a pinkier shade and it's lovely, but I have it on my cheeks right now. I actually have 2 different cheeks going. Just so you could see the difference, but it's over here right now. So it does have a beautiful, very subtle appearance on my skin tone on medium. So my skin type, by the way, is combo. It's usually oily in the T-zone, drier on the exterior. We have some dryness on the surface right now, kind of interesting and different for me. So I'm trying to deal with that. I also have medium in my skin tone. BD41 in Chanel foundation is the perfect match for me. Also, Armani foundation in 7.5 is also a really great match. So if you're trying to shade match, that's where we are. I have warm but also neutral undertones to my skin, and I'll talk about a foundation here momentarily that is a neutral tone that I really like. But this is a lovely blush. It's really pretty, goes on beautifully, builds slowly. And that's one thing I love about blushes, because if it goes on too much, and especially with this kind of a loose blush, if it goes on really densely and highly pigmented initially, it's really hard to blend in. So I really like this. I just tap a little bit out onto the cap and then take whatever's on the cap, like just a little bit like this, and then apply it with a brush. Yeah, it looks like the same size as the one I have in Coral, which is 0.15 ounces. Also, the little lip product that goes with it, this one. So these are worth buying separately now that I've had a chance to try them as well in case this set is not available. This is a lip product. It's a pH balance. I love the packaging. It's lovely. I had another lip product by Givenchy. It had like a marbleized kind of appearance. I literally love these pH activated lip products because it just lends a little bit of color but doesn't have that makeup-y look to them. So I really liked this one. I've tried the Prada, the blue one. I've tried the one by Carolina Herrera. I've tried, oh, Sisley. I've got that one in the works right now. So they all have different levels of intensity. And this one is very subtle. It's more like the Prada on me, which is more subtle, but it has a beautiful, beautiful color. So I would also buy the full size of this. And I might add that to my list because I really like it. And I have so many of these already, but I really liked that so much. I loved this one. By the way, you should be seeing little shoppable tabs here that'll be popping up. It just makes it more convenient for you so you can continue watching the video and look at the products at the same time, or add them to your cart at the same time while continuing to watch. And then that way they'll be in your cart, and always, you know, you can remove things if it starts adding up to be too much, which is what I do. I'll just typically add things that I'm interested in, and then I'll look at the total and then start subtracting things. But that one's a really great one. The next surprise item is going to be this. Well, maybe it's not a surprise because I'm very picky with foundations. Is a new foundation, and I think they are increasing and improving the technology when it comes to makeup. I see it happening in eyeshadows, especially in blushes, and now foundations. So the Dior foundation, the stick foundation, I have 2 here because I picked up 3.5N recently. Well, that was the first one I picked up because 3N was not available. And I tried these on side by side for you in the Get Ready With Me. So if you'd like to see the difference, I will show you. It's very subtle because I like a sheer coverage. So I go in really light-handedly with this just to really get the even skin tone going. It is such a thin layer though, it's almost imperceptible on the skin that I have makeup. The only place you can see that it's makeup is if I use this lightest shade directly on here and put too much, because then you can see it kind of sits on top. I've got discoloration here, by the way. So that's another thing I deal with is hyperpigmentation. This one looks really nice all over, but then it's a little bit too dark. So blending the two works really well. I did go into Sephora to swatch again though, just to see, do I need to order 2.5? I swatched it and there's a big jump between 3N and 2.5N because you'll see, I'll show you the swatch right now. I've got in order 3.5N, 3N, then we've got 2.5N, 2N, and then we have 2CR, the Cool Rosy. So it's got pink undertones, but it almost looks peach. So if I was going to pick one of those, oddly, I would pick 2CR because I think it might work well because even 2N is a little bit warm. So out of all of those lighter shades between 2.5N, neutral light skin with neutral undertones, 2N, which is neutral light skin with neutral undertones, 2CR, Cool Rosy. Like this would be a good time to click on that little link right here. I'll put it right here if you want to see what I'm talking about. 2CR is Cool Rosy, light skin with pink undertones. It almost has a peach undertone to it. So that is maybe the one I would pick up if I was in that 2 range at all, because even 3N is warm. It is categorized as medium skin with neutral undertones, but it's warmer than 3.5N, which is supposed to be medium skin with neutral undertones. The shade matching is a little bit tricky here, but if you again are around my tone, I have both, and I'm glad I have both because my forehead is deeper than the rest of my skin tone, and then it looks a little off if I have all the same color on my face. Just because I'm not used to looking at it like that, it can look a bit mask-like. So I do like having them both to blend. So again, 3N and 3.5N are my choices. At first I just wanted one, but I think I really do need 2, especially as we go through the seasons. I have a feeling those foundation sticks are gonna go quickly during this because they're getting a lot of great reviews and I agree with them. Next generation foundation for sure. The deeper of the shades, 3.5N, is the one I'm using daily. And it is deeper than my skin tone, but I use this in the morning. So the Caudalie SPF 50, it's a daily mineral sunscreen, SPF 50. It also has a brightening component. Skin looks brightened is one of the claims. So I use this as well during the day. So this is my daily makeup. And again, going in with 3.5N on top works really nicely because this does have a bit of a white cast. It is mineral, so that's gonna happen. As good as a mineral sunscreen is, it's not, I've not found a sheer one. I don't know if it can even be a real thing. So this plus 3.5N is great. Another surprise recommendation is the bronzer. This also reminds me of that next generation technology. It is very seamless with the skin. It melts into the skin beautifully, does not look like makeup. I have it on now. I'll use it as the way a contour is actually typically used. But I'll also use it as a bronzer, like right across here. It's very natural. So if you want a very, very, very natural look, I would go in with a foundation stick, a little bit of this bronzer right across here, anywhere where the sun typically hits, and it's beautiful. So I have mine in the shade Tan. And if you go to my Dior video where I try this on, I think I swatched all of them for you. So go ahead and go to that video. It's a recent one where I said, I think like Dior enters the conversation, something like that. Has entered the conversation. Yeah, Dior has entered the conversation. That video, I feature all of the shades in here if you want to take a look. But Tan is the nicest shade for me because I am warm toned. The other ones would be more of a contour. Lots of gray tones in those. All of them except for this one. So if you wanted a warm shade, this is beautiful. So I'm loving that. I'm wearing that daily as well, just because it's fun to wear. Another thing that's, well, not very exciting, but very practical is this hand lotion. I'm going to be picking up several myself because I usually pick up a hand lotion in the airport when I'm traveling, and it's usually L'Occitane. And they have these little lids. You twist them off and on usually, and it's like a separate component from the packaging. And more than once I've lost the lid on an airplane or in a car and I can't find it. And so then I just end up having to throw this away because I can't find the lid anymore and I don't need lotion everywhere. This, however, is a little flip top. So they don't all look like this, only some. I noticed there were some sets, which I might pick up, but it's the hand cream, the dry skin hand cream, which is really a nice cream anyway, but it has this top. It seems silly, but it makes such a big difference that it's just a flip top, so it doesn't get lost. So I'm gonna pick up many of these. I always have a hand cream in my bag, and these are lovely. Oh, I did want to mention too, I have hyperpigmentation, like I said, and sometimes the texture can get a little bit raised, and I want to flatten the texture and make it look like one with the skin. So I have I have concealer and a little bit of liquid blush on, I'll talk about in a minute. And these are great. These are Sephora makeup tools. If you're familiar with them, I actually love a couple of their products here that I use over and over, but these are little blending sponges. So I've used this one, and I just press it against, especially my pores here, to get things flat to the surface without adding any other product. And then there's 2 of these teardrop shapes as well, so they get into this area really nicely. So if you're looking for this shape, it's really nice. I wanted to mention that. This is the concealer brush, the eye concealer brush that I use right under here. Usually in pretty much every video I've been using this because it is shaped specifically just for that area. You have bristles here that are shorter, and then they get longer on just that one side that goes against this eye, and it does a really nice job of applying under the eye area. I'll use it also, you'll see me use it just to flatten this area too when I applied concealer. Lovely. As I mentioned, I am oily in the T-zone area, and so especially in the warmer months, not so much now, but in the warmer months this came in really handy. It's the YSL powder. It's the All Hours Hyper Finish Translucent. And did I do a wear test? I feel like I did a wear test, or at least I wear tested it for myself to see how well it did, and it works really, really well. If you want oil control and translucent, that's very nice. For a more glowy kind of unique product, which is they're known for, Hourglass. So I did a shop my stash in a very interesting way, if you saw that. And there was this idea of using an Hourglass powder as a highlighter. So if you're not a fan of highlighter, you're not going to see a very shiny highlighter on me because I don't really love that look. You can use something like this. This is Dim Light by Hourglass, and like Luminescent Light was one I was going to pull for, but I can't find it. I saw it, but I can't find it anymore. It's here somewhere. But just dusting this on the cheekbone area for very muted highlight is beautiful. It also has a lovely filtered effect to it, so it doesn't have that same impact on the any fine lines or wrinkles that other powder highlighters can have. And I actually have it on the center of my face. That's how subtle the glow is on this. Brings about a 3-dimensional appearance to the front of the face. I think it's a great solution if you're looking for just a little bit of a glow, but nothing sparkly, and something that won't bring about texture while also blurring. So it does a really nice job of blurring as well. So this particular color, Dim Light, has a multitasking purpose for me, and this little one is just great. So I don't need a giant powder. I don't use that much makeup when I apply makeup, so I don't go through this quickly. This one is what I demoed for this side of my face. So I have this on. So I tried many liquid blushes recently, and there's one here that I know many people like, although you let me know you don't love this. Some of you don't love this. The Hourglass one is really tough for me, especially because I have hyperpigmentation. I've got concealer on, I mentioned that before. This just emulsifies things and like lifts it off. If you don't have that issue, then this is probably really nice for you, where you can go directly on the skin almost. But this one, this Make Me Blush by YSL in 44 is lovely. So I'll show you a technique if you didn't see that video and you're new here. I'll show you application on top of concealer, how this works so it doesn't lift off makeup. This has a really lovely second skin-like finish on the skin, and I love this shade 44. It's a little bit cooler because over here I have that other blush, the Givenchy blush. That's why it looks a little bit different, if you noticed. I have 2 different blushes on and 2 different concealers. So did I talk about concealer yet? Not yet. Before I talk about concealer though, hyperpigmentation, I am continuing to work on it. I'm testing out this product now if you were interested. It's Dr. Idris, and it's Major Fade Hyper Serum. And I've been applying this during the day because I'm using something else at night. But it's created by a dermatologist, and I think they have a YouTube channel. So it looks like this, and you apply it here. There's a little dispenser there. And then there's also another one in here. So when this runs out, you can put this in the cartridge, or this cartridge in the packaging. So yeah, testing it out, getting some nice progress with these dark spots. Also, I mentioned concealers. So there are two at Sephora that I'm using consistently. So my daily makeup is different than on camera makeup. So my daily makeup is really focused around SPF and protecting my skin because of these dark spots. I want to maintain the progress and not set myself back. So I'm using as much SPF as possible. So again, starting with this product, and then I go in with the CL, and I'll be repurchasing this. So for items I'm repurchasing, this is one of them. So this is the CL concealer. It's mineral SPF, SPF 50. And if I can protect these dark spots, perfect. And that's what I'm trying to conceal anyway. So it's in 08P. It's got a peachy tone to it. Much more apparent in terms of concealer. It doesn't have the same glow as another concealer I'm going to talk about in a moment. And then I also go on top of that with this product, which is also a liquid blush. This is in Kirsty. I'll be picking up Kirsty and then a couple other shades. I put them in my basket. By the way, I'm also going to link in a pinned comment. It'll be a link to a store that I set up with my Sephora picks in them. So if you shop through that link, you'll see all of these products in there in case you can't remember or don't want to go back to this video. So you can click on that link and I'll have all of these products I'm talking about as well. I put these in my basket myself. Bahati is another shade that I would like to pick up in this. And also the Shiseido, I'll put a picture here. The Shiseido Super Soft Natural Facial Cotton. I need those. I am down to like my last 10 and I'm tearing them in half now. That's how much I like them. But I use them to remove my nail polish. I use them for a toner on my face. Oh, that reminds me, I do need to pick up a toner as well. There is one that I've been using that I like because it addresses dark spots at Sephora. It's a Brighten Up, Pharmacy Brighten Up 3% TXA Dark Spot Toner with azelaic acid. So I'll put that here. That's another item that I'll be picking up from the sale. Actually, let me add it to my cart right now. Another concealer I've been using since I got it is this Westman Atelier concealer. It has a beautiful glow to it. It's not sparkly or anything like that, but it has a lovely finish to it. The CL, this one is more matte. It's just a thicker concealer, but this one's more natural looking, especially when you go in with less. I have that under my eye now, under my eyes. I also have it here on this spot today. So it is buildable and mine is in M2. The packaging is beautiful on these Westman Atelier products. I think it's glass. I was going to see if there's a deeper shade that had a peachy undertone. That's really great for dark spots, but you've let me know also that the deeper shades or the more rich shades don't have the same peachy undertone that this does, so I'm sticking with this one. Sometimes I use different concealers for different parts of my face depending on what the need is and how opaque I need it, but this does a nice job of building up and being able to address that hyperpigmentation as well. Still can't compete with something like the Clé de Peau concealer. I wouldn't put them in the same category, but it works well for a more fluid. It's more along the lines of like a Le Camouflage Stilo by Chantecaille, if you've tried that, which is also very lovely. A little bit thicker though, but not as thick as the Chanel Under Eye Concealer. This might be a surprise because it's new. I just tried it out, and like I said, I don't like to recommend things typically that aren't something I've used over and over and over again. In this case, this had a really lovely color selection. I liked that it had these beautiful like warmer neutrals, and then it had this beautiful, I love purple. I loved the green one. So if you remember the green palette that came out, maybe it was a year or two ago, it was beautiful. I loved it. And so this one inspired me to pick it up because I had such a good experience with that. The palettes from say Hermes or Clé de Peau, those are next generation types of palettes, and even the Chanel singles that have recently come out, I would categorize those as next generation eyeshadows because there's a creamier component to those, very silky going on. These are a little bit more traditional in terms of their feeling, the way they apply, although I have to say they applied really nicely. So I have on 1, 2, 3, 4 of the shades on right now. We'll do Get Ready With Me so you can tune into that. I really love to play with this really cool section down here. I'll be doing a holiday look using holiday products, like one from each brand. So I've got something from Chanel, Hermes, Dior. So I've got items from various brands and we'll put a holiday look together. So maybe we'll play with that, one of these, when we get to that video. So look for that coming up, but I'll be using this quite a bit, but I really liked the selection here. And I don't like palettes typically that are larger than 4 or 5. That's my max, but I really thought this would have a lot of potential for lots of different things. So it's beautiful. Then moving on to another surprise recommendation is this, because I love Chantecaille's Fossil Longest Lash Mascara. I love the Tower 28 mascara, but I thought, let me try something from Dior because I loved the foundation so much. So I'm going back to Dior a little bit. I tried all of their palettes, their quints at one point. I think I've tried them all. But then the next generation palettes came along, so I got distracted and have been enjoying those. But this is a really lovely mascara, and what I like about this one, this is, by the way, the Dior Show Iconic Overcurl. It's curved, so it grabs all the lashes. I really like that. And you can go from something more subtle, like a one coat does enough to just get definition on there, just a little bit of volume, but not super sparse. Some of the luxury brand mascaras are very, very subtle that I don't see them doing anything on my lashes. This one got my lashes to lift up. It looked pretty on. If you want that no mascara look that I think is a thing right now, but I still love mascara, you can do that. It's very minimal, but then 2 or 3 coats, like I stop at probably 3 coats, it gets a little bit chunky after that point, but I have 2 coats on right now. So it's really pretty, easy to use, again, grabs those lashes. And if you don't love color for eyeshadow, this is a great pairing. These NARS shadows, they're matte. And I have this one, which is a peachier tone. It's really lovely. And then I have one that's a more like a deeper, almost a contour tone. This is a really nice defining eye product that is a no makeup kind of look. Evens out the tone on the eyelids and then builds a little bit of definition. I really like these NARS eyeshadow sticks. I love eyeshadow sticks. I've tried a lot of eyeshadow sticks and those are very nice. And then Laura Mercier has this one in Moonlight if you want just a little bit of glow. Oh, I matched mine right there. But if you want a little bit of a glow, that's nice right on the lids, and then mascara, and that's really pretty. So for those who don't love color but want a little bit of definition, that's really lovely. I'm going to say yes, this one, because Valentino 09 is my go-to. If you saw the video where I did a no-fail makeup, or what was it? Something about when your makeup can't fail, where you don't have room for error. This is the one that I picked. It's still really pretty. It has a skin flattering finish to it. Continued to be one of my very favorite blushes ever. I know it's not new and exciting, but it is one of the most predictable, I'm gonna say, recommendations for me. For brows, I went with the Gucci brow pencil. That's not a surprise because I really enjoyed that. And this one I think is an 04. I have many of these. It's my fastest brow product. Goes on really easily, is not shiny, has more of a powdery finish on it. So it's like a powder in a pencil form. Really easy to apply, but it doesn't offer that ability to draw in little hair. So I did go in with a different product, not at Sephora, just for this very front part. And then I also went in with the Dior Onset Brow in 032. It has a really lovely hold to it. It gives you that volume, makes it look more natural. So this is lovely as well. I did go in though with this mirror. I forgot to mention the Great Skin Priming Moisturizer. It says after cleansing to apply 1 to 2 pumps, and it's a nice creamier kind of consistency versus their initial product, the Glow product, which is very different consistency. This is a very nice creamy consistency. For those with more combo skin, this is very nice. And I actually applied it a little bit more than 2 pumps because I'm dehydrated on the surface right now. And then we've got this, which is also a surprise, another brand new product. But for those of you who have been here a while, you know I don't love matte lips. I don't love the way it looks because what that can do is it can make my lips look wrinkly, and I don't like that. But this doesn't do that. It looks like your lips, but better kind of color on me. This is the best color. It's an 034R, the best color for me because it looks very much like my skin tone, and it just evens it out, and it doesn't dry my lips out like some mattes can. So I think this is next generation type technology. Reminds me a little bit of Lisa Eldridge's, her more matte lipsticks. Really pretty, very comfortable, very hydrating. So I like what they did here. And I do like the packaging. It's as understated as I think Valentino gets with their packaging because it's this more matte or this brushed metal kind of appearance. I do want to mention also Elemis Pro Collagen Cleansing Balm. When I finish here, I'm going to be cleansing with this because it does such a nice job of being able to remove this makeup. It emulsifies it, helps me remove it really quickly. It works best with a damp cloth. I don't just wash this off. I use a damp, very soft cloth to help remove it. And then I do go in with a cleanser, like any kind of cleanser. Actually, there's a Sephora one, I'll list it below, that I've been testing out. It's very nice. So I do like the feeling of double cleansing, but I don't have to double cleanse with this. I just like to double cleanse with that. So let me know if you just use this to remove your makeup. I could definitely do it if I needed to, but I just prefer double cleansing. And then here's something I'll be also buying is this NuFace Silk Creme because I use the NuFace device. And I like this because it's firming and brightening. So anytime I can get some brightening on my face, I will do that. I do this in the evening, but I can also do this in the daytime before makeup because it does not interfere with makeup. I have not had that problem. I was having that issue with one of their other products that I initially like the gel, but I think they may have change that up too, but this one does not interfere with makeup application. And this would not be a Sephora recommendation video without mentioning these tools because I still use them. I don't use this one as much as I used to just because of the bangs that I have here. I actually haven't tried curling my bangs really with the Dyson Airwrap, but it's still the prettiest curl. I've featured this many times, so if you were thinking about it, I still love it, but I just am at a different place with my hair. Of course, I'll go back to this at some point. I did use this today, the Air Straight, and I know some of you have picked this up. Let me know that you are able to wear your hair longer now like I am because it doesn't get like scraggly is what happens to my hair because I have a lot of gray hair in here, and if you're familiar with gray hair, the texture is kind of wiry, and so this really helps actually that one too. Gets that smoothness back to the hair and then it moves. So it's not like a typical straightener that I've had in the past where it straightens and then it's kind of like moves like this, like it doesn't have the movement of hair. It's straight, but it doesn't have the movement. And that's what I like about this. It has a movement of hair. So it does help with that wiriness that I'm experiencing with my hair with gray hair. By the way, again, these little tabs that have been showing up here, they are affiliate links, so thank you so much for using them if you are using them. Any other items that I can think of, I will put in that store. Again, that initial pinned comment will have a link to my store that I set up, and then I'll go to the Sephora store. It's kind of like I just pick items from the Sephora store and curate them, really is what that is. So it's like a curated collection of Sephora items, including what I'm mentioning here and anything else I can think of. And do let me know, of course, what are your Sephora picks? I would love to know, what do I need to try and what did I miss? I feel like I look on that site a lot and I see a lot of the same things, but these are some of the newer, more exciting surprise recommendations. And let me know, were you surprised by my recommendations? Because I know so many of you are returning viewers and thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Let me know if you were surprised by my recommendations. But that is it for today's video. So please take care of each other. Stay well if you enjoyed this video. If you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time. Is this because also their 71, this is the under eye, like some of the other high-end luxury. The first product that I picked up in this same kind of, another